I want to welcome everyone to the 2018 Virginia Legislative Black Caucus pre-session press conference. I have remarks, I'm going to come off the remarks a little bit because I'm intimidated by a lot of the people that are behind me. And so while they're all making comments about me behind my back, and I'm just kind of relaxing, just trying to act like I don't hear them. But I love them all, and if you all aren't familiar with the Black Caucus, most of you as I look out in the audience are familiar. You know we are a tight-knit group, we are a family, and for the first time, we have been saying we're 20 deep. Wow. But we're actually 21. Because Brother Justin Fairfax likes it or not, whether it's proper protocol or not, he is one of ours. That's a round of applause, guys. We have an agenda that reflects our commitment to fulfilling our promise. You're looking for a hashtag today. What is it?
VLBC promise.
VLBC promise. So fulfilling our promise, particularly focus on equity in education, healthcare, economic opportunity, and the criminal justice system. No surprise, right? The Virginia Legislative Black Caucus had 21 members, proudly represents diverse faces of Virginia in every corner of the Commonwealth on a number of issues. And year after year, the caucus works to improve the economic, educational, and political and social conditions of the most underprivileged and those that are living on the margins. For the 2018 General Assembly session, we will continue this work, and we have a number of individuals that are going to speak. No surprise again. Guess who we're going to start with?
I was going to guess.
Lieutenant Governor, probably the last time I'll be able to say this. Lieutenant Governor-elect Justin Fairfax.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I want to thank you for your leadership and for allowing me to be here today. I want to thank the very distinguished members of the Legislative Black Caucus, the House and the Senate side. These are the best leaders that we have here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. I'm proud to work alongside them in this most recent election. They played a massive role in making sure that we won on November the 7th, and I thank them for what they did for myself, for Governor-elect Ralph Northam, Attorney General Mark Herring, and so many other members of the House of Delegates who were elected on the strength of what the Legislative Black Caucus was able to do. And now is the time to fulfill the promise. As the chairman said, people entrusted us in this session to fight for them, to fight for their families, for more economic opportunity and security, to make sure that everyone has a shot at the American dream and everyone has a chance to rise. And that is what the Legislative Black Caucus has fought for since its inception. There's no more important time than today to continue that fight and to fulfill that promise. When we do make up with the House of Delegates and a closely divided Senate, where I will be banging the gavel and looking forward to it, breaking ties in favor of progress. We are focused on issues that really matter to all of Virginia's families. Expanding Medicaid to give access to 400,000 more Virginians to affordable health care. Making sure we reform our working criminal justice system, reforming the grand felony threshold to raise that, making sure that we address and break the school to prison pipeline and dismantle that piece by piece, that we safeguard the record investments in K-12 education Governor McCullough was able to marshal in, and make sure that every aspect of our Commonwealth, no matter where someone starts, who they love, the color of their skin, where they were born, what God they pray to, what zip code they live in, they get a shot at the American dream. That's really what is embodied by the Legislative Black Caucus, by the agenda items, the bills they have now pre-filed, and the fights we're going to have to make sure that progress and those promises are fulfilled. So I want to thank you all. I'm looking forward to this session. My first day of presiding over the Senate will be on January the 15th, Monday, MLK Day. And so I'm really looking forward to that momentous occasion and to working with every single one of these great leaders. So thank you all so much, and God bless you. Look forward to a great session. Thank you.
hashtag, what was that? Breaking ties in favor of progress. I like that. What I also want to do is start with Delegate Rasul and just get the members to announce who they are. There may be some members of the media that want to pull these individuals to the side after this presser, and you probably would want to do that based upon your region. And so you would want to know the name of our members and the area that they serve.
Louise Lucas, Hampton Roads, specifically Portsmouth.
Delegate Joe Lindsay, Norfolk of Virginia Beach.
Delegate-elect Jay Johnson, Norfolk.
Rosalind Dance, Senator, 16th Senatorial District, Pittsburgh, Richmond. Chesterfield,
Jennifer McClellan, the 9th Senate District, is Richmond, Eastern Henrico, Ashland,
Delegate Matthew James representing Portsmouth, Norfolk, Chesapeake, and Suffolk.
Delegate Charnel Herring, representing Alexandria City.
Delegate Cliff Hayes, representing 77th House District, Chesapeake, and Suffolk.
Delegate Juwan Water, representing the 92nd House District, which is the majority of the city of Hampton. Delegate Dolores McQuinn, representing the 70th House District, Henrico, Richmond, as well as North Chester. Delegate Marcia Price, Newport News and Hampton in the 95th District.
LaSharice Air, delegate of the 63rd District, including all of the city of Petersburg, parts of Dinwiddie, Hopewell, Prince George, and Chesterfield.
Delegate-elect Jennifer Trefoy, representing Prince William and Stafford.
Delegate Jeff Warren, representing the 71st District, which is Richmond and parts of
Delegate Victoria, also representing portions of Prince William in the 52nd District.
And Delegate Lamont Baker representing 74th District, half of Eastern Henrico, one district one precinct in Richmond, and all of Charleston. So next week we have a couple of members, starting with our Virginia Legislative Black Caucus Vice Chair, Senator Jennifer McClellan, just to talk about a couple of the main issues that we have and we'll be fighting for. You all should have a copy available to you of the presser. There aren't bill numbers on there. We initially had it with the bill numbers on there, but some bills don't have bill numbers yet. And so what we thought we would do is just give it to you in this form without the bill numbers. And then once we get all the bill numbers, we will send out another presser.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So 150 years ago, Virginia was in the midst of a constitutional convention. It was the first convention where African Americans served. There were 24. So we've got a little ways to go. In that constitution, it was the first time that Virginia promised a public education to all of its citizens. Since then, the Virginia Black Caucus, the Virginia Black Caucus has focused on improving our public education system, because we have not always led up to the promise in our Constitution that every child in Virginia is promised access to free, high-quality public education. This year is no different. We will be focusing on several budget proposals and bills to ensure that high-quality K-12 education, but also making sure that we improve access to higher education. Specifically in the budget, we will support increases in the state share of K-12 at-risk add-on funding, fully funding the re-benchmarking and standards of quality. And for our bills, we have legislation that we will either individual members are sponsoring, or we are chief co-sponsors of bills creating a JLARC study for the funding of the expansion of the Virginia Preschool Initiative, bills that prevent school resource officers from seeking petitions for school misdemeanors as part of our efforts to fight the school shooting pipeline, bills to require the Board of Education to keep a catalog of accommodations available to English and second language students on CPT tests, and require school boards to make all efforts to satisfy those accommodations, to implement recommendations from the Teacher Diversity Task Force to address the teacher shortage and diversify Virginia's education pipeline. And then there are several other bills to address the school education pipeline, including preventing or limiting suspension, long-term suspension and expulsion of students
Yes.
Thank you, Senator. Next, we will have Senator Rosalind Davis.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I am excited about this 2018 General Assembly session because we are in a great position to pass some legislation that will benefit all Virginians. Right now, we have the opportunity to be on the right side of history, which brings me to the reason why I'm speaking before you today, and that is Medicaid expansion. It is imperative that we fight to expand Medicaid simply because it is a right thing to do for Virginians right now. I want to borrow a phrase that our governor-elect used on the campaign trail. He said, he's a doctor, I'm the nurse. He said, no family in Virginia should be one medical emergency away from financial demise. I believe that. The time is now, and I should say we believe that. The time is now for us to get quality health care for 400,000 Virginians who desperately need it. Over half, and that's 54% of those uninsured Virginians are people of color. 23% of these individuals are African Americans. African Americans continue to suffer health disparities in disproportionate rates and are nearly twice as likely to die from preventable diseases such as heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. These Virginians falling within the coverage gap do not have alternative options to coverage and are getting our emergency rooms, our state psychiatric hospitals, our community service boards, jails, and community health care clinics. Virginia's taxpayers have spent over $10.5 billion to Washington that have funded 33 other states' Medicaid expansion. This was money that we will never see, and it has not helped one single Virginian. A recent poll found that 70% of Virginians have favored increasing access to Medicaid, an important but an optional part of the Affordable Care Act. It's a portion, just a portion of that Affordable Care Act. Virginians have voiced support to expand its public health insurance program for low-income, uninsured state residents. And not only is Medicaid expansion the right thing to do, but it will save Virginians money. Under our current program, we are forfeiting $2.2 billion. That comes to $6 billion a day. 2018 is a time for us to step up as leaders and fight for something that will improve the lives of Virginians. Together, this legislative body can make it happen. So today, we are asking all members to come together in a bipartisan manner and work towards passing an agreeable solution before this year's session ends. Thank you.
Right along, we will move to Delegate McCoy.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As the Virginia Legislative Black Caucus, each of us feel that we represent or know that we represent communities that have economic challenges and are disproportionately negatively impacted because of that. And we want to ensure that the legislation that we introduce and that there's a clear pathway to creating economic development and prosperity for the communities that we represent. One of those bills that we are looking at is House Bill 69, and it's because in communities across this country, there's a great frustration. The frustration is that grocery stores just don't exist, leaving residents without a reliable source of healthy food. More than 1.7 million Virginians, including 480,000 children, don't have grocery stores that offer food in their communities, creating food desert and food insecurities. Their absence have real consequences, and without access to affordable and healthy foods, a nutritious diet and good health are out of their reach. And it results to many of the challenges that we face in our various communities, diet-related diseases like diabetes, heart disease, and especially among children, they're on a rise. And so we are looking at, as in the General Assembly, to get the support of lawmakers and organizations to support the Virginia Grocery Investment Food, a solution that can improve access to healthy food while growing our economy and spurring private sector job creation. This bill has a strong support of many businesses and organizations. But the blessing of this is that, again, not only do we look at the health aspect of it, but economically, how we can impact various communities. We know that it works, it has worked across the country, and we are pushing this as one of the ways of bringing economic prosperity while health and wellness to the various communities. The other bills that we are looking at are certainly bills to help support those who have been incarcerated, who are returning citizens to our various communities, and these are individuals who have been convicted of a felony. There is one bill to asking that we'll give tax credits to employees who would actually hire these individuals. We want to make sure that these persons who have returned to the community, they have paid their debt to society, they should not be paying their debt to society twice. And so we want to certainly give them a second chance. The legislation provides an incentive, again, to employers to provide that second chance. This bill will affect the entire state of Virginia in a positive manner by offering real employment opportunities to returning citizens. And returning citizens in urban as well as rural areas need opportunities to fully participate in the community. And when people are gainfully employed, there's a positive impact for the individual as well as the economy. The positive economic impact equals actual monetary savings from the cost of keeping individuals out of jail, and there's also a monetary saving associated with crime reduction. Thank you.
I want to take one brief moment to thank my colleagues for allowing me the opportunity to chair this caucus that has so much legacy. It makes me think about the fact that you hear a lot of folks say you need to develop a bench, but it's folks like Louise Lucas and Mamie Locke that says we don't want a bench. We're gonna put everybody in the game, and so we have someone that is new that is not going to sit on the bench, but she's going to get in the game. Jennifer Carroll.
Good morning.
Good morning.
We're here because we are serious about criminal justice reform. So in Virginia, we have to work to create a fair and efficient criminal justice system, and we have to become smarter on crime. Now, we all know the disparate impact that a lot of our archaic and draconian laws have on communities of color and low-income communities. And as the first public defender to ever get elected to the General Assembly, this is something that I am all too familiar with. On a daily basis, I protect the constitutional rights and civil liberties of people with substance abuse issues, mental illness, minorities, and of course the chronically poor. And so that's why, as a freshman, I'm carrying 10 criminal justice reform bills. So very briefly, I'm just going to talk to you all about two. The first one is increasing the grand larceny threshold. Right now in Virginia, we have the lowest grand larceny threshold in the country. It's only $200. Now, felonies should be reserved for some of the most egregious crimes in the Commonwealth. That's what rapists, robbers, murderers, that's what they're charged with. But also, 13-year-olds who steal a pair of sunglasses. And that's what I find myself defending on a daily basis. So we need the punishment to fit the crime. And right now in Virginia, it does not. And so that's why one of my bills is to increase the grand larceny threshold from $200 to $1,000, where it will be more on par with other states. The second one I want to talk to you about, I want to tell it to you in the story of Ryan Kirk. So Ryan received free lunch. He was a middle school student at Prince William County, which is in my district, and he forgot his 65-cent carton of milk, and he went back in line to get it. The school resource officer then charged him with petty larceny, which is a crime. Now, most of you know, in Virginia, we are #1 for the school to prison pipeline. We send more of our students from the classroom to the courtroom than any other state in the country, and that is a problem. So what my bill does, it gives more power and autonomy to principals in the school to deal with these minor infractions. So we don't have 6-year-olds being handcuffed and thrown in the back of police vehicles for kicking a trash can and being charged with disorderly conduct. Now this is what happened, and this happens on a daily basis. In Virginia, we lock them up early and we lock them up at large, and that has to end. A child should not suffer the consequences for minor infractions for the rest of their life and enter the perpetual cycle of the criminal justice system. And as we all know, the people who suffer the most are people with disabilities such as autism and minorities such as African Americans and Hispanics. And so this is something that's very important and that this caucus is very passionate about. And so that's why we're bringing it to the forefront, and we're going to bring the fight here this session to end the school to prison pipeline and make our criminal justice system a lot more effective and efficient and fair. Thank you.
So folks, we have one more speaker. We have to leave immediately after, not only because we have to get into our caucus meetings, but we're so fortunate that both of the caucus chairs are members of the Black Caucus. We need to get back and get us started with our caucus meeting. The last voice you will hear is that of Delegate Samuelson.
Good morning, everyone. Fulfilling our promises. Of course, the first promise that this great American experiment made was the promise to be able to vote, to be able to participate, for sure, in line with Governor Northam's priorities and Lieutenant Governor Fairfax's priorities, for sure. There are 3 themes that we're focusing on with regards to our voting priorities: making it easier to vote, redistricting reform, and election integrity. A few bills that I wanted to mention to you around making it easier to vote. Senate Joint Resolution 9, offered by Senator Locke, makes voting a constitutional right and further enshrines the ability to be able to vote. House Bill 57 by Delegate Herring talks about no excuse absentee voting. House Bill, and there are several of them, HB 834 by Delegate Bagby, will be pushing automatic voter registration. My House Joint Resolution 33 will start an interesting discussion this year, which will be a multi-year discussion, around allowing 16 and 17-year-olds to be able to vote in our local elections as they do in other states. That way we can get people involved in our democracy earlier. Around redistricting reform, Delegate Ward has HB 312 asking for special hearings around redistricting. HB 616 from Delegate Price prohibits drawing districts for political purposes and otherwise. And with regards to election integrity, my HB 382 limits the number of split precincts that we can have, because as we know, there was a great injustice in House District 28, where many voters were disenfranchised, and we feel as though we could possibly have a 22nd member of this caucus with us today, Joshua Cole. So we want to ensure that something like that does not happen again. We firmly believe that voting is not a privilege, rather it's our due as Americans and as Virginians. Thank you.
Again, I think you've heard by the remarks of our Lieutenant Governor-elect, senators, and our delegates that we are committed to fulfilling our promise. Hashtag VLBC promise. And so, with that being said, we are on our way to start fulfilling our promise. Literally